Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here today. I'm, of course, Gregor Guy.
My name's Casey.
And for your extreme viewing pleasure, we will be presenting episode 24 of the Bangcast.
The Kobe episode.
The Kobe episode. Can't wait for that behind the scenes to come out.
Alright.
So, this week you wanted to do talk about places that we would consider moving.
Right.
So, I'm just going to let you go ahead and, start off.
So I wanted to start out small and work our way up. So right now we live in the state of Maryland.
Can I just say,
right.
I either go big or I go home.
Well, not today.
So just say. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
We live in the state of Maryland.
Terrible state.
Yeah, I agree. But I think it's always grass is always greener on the other side too. So I don't want to say I'd be happier to live a better life in a different state, but I probably would, because the grass is greener on that other side.
Fair enough.
We live in the state of Maryland. If you had to move to somewhere else in the state of Maryland, where would you move?
Somewhere else in the state of Maryland?
Right, somewhere else in the state of Maryland.
Oh, it'd be as far. What is that?
West.
As far west as I could go.
So you're talking about like Harrisburg, Westminster,
and then hopefully West
Hagerstown.
Virginia annexes that part of Maryland.
Right.
Which actually was a thing.
Was it?
Yeah.
When was that?
Beginning of the year, maybe?
This year?
Yeah.
No.
They're talking about, annexing Garrett County, Allegheny County, and Montgomery County.
I mean, they're talking about...
Or actually, no, I think the counties were, put it to, or are talking about putting it to a vote to secede to West Virginia.
Right. I mean...
Maryland's trash. Let's be honest.
You have to think that whole wing of Maryland is kind of like separate from the rest of the state. It's not culturally... They're not. And
that's
same.
why they want to. They want to bounce. They want out. They don't like the representation that they have, which I totally understand because their population is fairly low.
Right.
And basically their votes do not count.
Right. I think they have more in common with the people of West Virginia than they do.
I agree.
And West Virginia and Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah.
Than they do with the major part of the state of Maryland.
Yeah.
I think they're also doing that with parts of regular Virginia as well.
I'm not fairly sure of the political makeup of Virginia.
So I would have to agree. I would have to agree that moving to Western
mountains.
Mountains. Yeah, I'm a big mountain fan personally. Yeah. So we got Maryland out of the way. Let's move up a little bit bigger. Let's go a little bit bigger.
A little bit bigger, okay.
If you had to move to a different state in the Union, what state would you move to?
Texas.
Texas? Alright, well, before you make your decision right off the bat, you might still say Texas after the fact. I have a little bit of statistics that might help you make your decision.
Okay. Yeah, fill me in on the info.
These states have no income tax. Alaska, Florida, Nevada, New Hampshire, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Washington, and Wyoming.
Texas.
So personally, in my opinion, that makes those states spectacularly more appealing than the other states.
It should be noted that is also state income tax.
Right, state income. Everybody pays federal income tax.
Yeah.
Of all the states, California has the highest individual income tax rates. So we're gonna go. California has 13% base income tax. So all of your money in base income, that's not even taking out federal taxes yet. They're taking 13%. Hawaii, 11%. New Jersey, 10.75%. Maine, 5.8%, but it goes up to 7.5%.
Did you happen to? Do you have more? On that, I wondered if you actually looked up Maryland's rate.
I don't have Maryland's rate because it wasn't one of the highest or the lowest. I only took.
Actually, I think it is.
Well, okay. Let's. Here's. I have this other statistic. Your total tax burden. That includes your individual income, your property and sales excise taxes, and share of total personal income.
Okay.
All right. So we're in the top 5. New York, 12.7. Hawaii, Maine, Vermont, Minnesota, and New Jersey at 10. So between 12 and 10%, your total tax burden, that is all of the taxes, state taxes together.
There's no way, because you're paying, okay, let's just take Maryland for example. You're paying a 6% sales tax on everything.
Right.
Then your income gets taxed.
Right.
Then your gasoline gets taxed.
Right.
Then your cigarettes and alcohol get taxed. Everything gets taxed. I say that number is more realistically about 60% of whatever you make.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I don't know how they factored that in 100%. I was just going off basic.
12 or 10%, right. That is ludicrous.
Right. Okay, well, this is what they say is the states with the lowest tax burden. Alaska, 5%. Tennessee, Delaware, Wyoming, and New Hampshire.
Property tax is another one.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah, property tax, that's it. That's with it. So tax burden, individual income, property, sales and excise taxes, and a share of total personal income. That is what tax burden, total tax burden.
Okay, so let's just take, what'd you say? California was 13% state income tax. Right?
California 13.3 individual income tax. That is
individual not income tax. Yes.
Right, individual income tax.
Then they got to pay property taxes on top of it.
Right.
They got to pay, sales tax on top of that. They have to pay, tax on their gasoline, which is already factored in at the pump.
Right.
Obviously.
Right.
But, the list just keeps going and going and going.
Right.
What I'm saying is that a conservative number is 65% of, your income goes to taxes.
Okay.
You heard it here first.
Maybe that's a thing you can do for the next financial episode is finding out
exactly
how much you.
It makes my blood pressure boil, right. And I feel like I'm already about to pass out.
All right, so let's move on to something slightly maybe more positive.
Okay.
Highest average income. Highest average income from where you would live. District of Columbia at $88,702. Then you have Massachusetts, Connecticut, New Jersey, and New York.
Okay, District of Columbia, D.C. And the only reason that number is so high and so skewed is because it is all of the members of Congress who just gave themselves a 21% pay increase, as well as all the lobbyists and everything down there that make $400,000 a year.
Right. Right. Yep. And all other government workers that live in that area.
Yeah. Well, if you're working at the Pentagon, more or less, you're probably living in Virginia somewhere.
Right.
But
you get paid out of D.C. You can live in Virginia, but your paycheck is coming out of D.C.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, no. The Pentagon is located in Virginia. It's not located in D.C.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure of that.
I'm 99% positive.
Okay.
That's true.
But, so, being with all those numbers, are you going to stick with Texas?
Texas, yeah.
Texas, all right. I tend to say that I would...
I like their gun laws.
Prefer... Okay, gun laws. West Virginia has open carry.
So does Texas.
Yeah, Texas has open carry. I think Tennessee also has open carry, and I would say that it would be between Texas, or not Texas, it would be between West Virginia and Tennessee for me, mainly based upon climate, because Texas is hot as shit, and I do not like hot weather.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the hot weather, though.
Right.
Yes. Actually, I'd rather sweat than freeze.
So. I would rather have it be cold. Basically between the two, would I rather sweat to death or freeze to death? I would rather probably freeze to death because you just pass out into a coma and you die.
Well, at the same point in time, you're not going to sweat to death as long as you keep, intaking water.
You would have a heat stroke. That's.
I mean, air conditioning is going to be vital, obviously, in Texas.
Right. Right. I'm still going to say that I would prefer Tennessee. Tennessee.
I mean, Tennessee
West
could
Virginia,
be an interesting.
There's mountains in Tennessee as well. I mean, there's probably mountains in most states, I would say.
I mean, I don't give a shit about the mountains.
I do. I want to walk out. I want to walk out my front door and just see, nature. Nature at its grandest, and I believe mountains fits that profile.
Well, I mean, you can still see nature in Texas, too. It's just open, plains kind of nature.
I mean, that's not really my thing, though.
You can watch the tumbleweed and everything, blowing around out in your yard and shit.
Right. I'm still going with...
It's a different kind of nature.
Yeah, I'm going with Tennessee. Tennessee or West Virginia is going to be my thing.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. I'm not down with West Virginia. I mean, I'm not really down with West Virginia. It still gets cold in the winter. Tennessee still kind of gets...
It's mild. Tennessee and West Virginia are mild climates. They're like the in-between climates, between cold and hot.
No, I don't think so, because West Virginia is directly next to Maryland. So
right.
It's got to be a very similar climate.
Exactly. Yeah,
Maryland's not really a mild climate.
I would consider Maryland a mild climate.
No,
it gets cold in the summer.
It's extremely hot in the summer with humidity and everything, and it is extremely cold in the winter with temperature.
Do you think it slightly changes because they're not next to the ocean, though?
See, I don't have the answer for that. I would have to...
You almost put your pen in your cup.
That would have been terrible. I would have to do analysis.
Right.
But what I can tell you is that in the winter, it very rarely goes below freezing in
right.
Texas.
I would agree with that. But when it does, they can't even power their own houses because...
yes, well, I mean, I'm sure they learned a lot from that one.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
Their ice storm that happened, what was that, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that?
Right. Seems like anytime something big happens...
Also, Texas is on its own power grid. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
There you go. You heard it here first.
So, I'm going Tennessee, West Virginia. You're going Texas. So, now we're moving... Let's get even a little bit bigger here. Now we're moving to the world. Anywhere,
world stage.
Yep. Anywhere that if you had to move out of the United States, so you had to move out of Maryland, you had to move out of where we live now, you had to move out of Maryland, then you have to move out of the United States.
Are you asking me where I'm going?
Where are you moving to out of the United States?
I'm going to Latin America.
You're going to Latin America.
I'm either going to Mexico, Honduras. I got a couple friends down in Honduras. Shout out Honduras. Or South America.
Okay.
One of those three places.
Is there specific reasons?
Like I said, I got friends in Honduras.
Okay.
So I'm fairly certain that they do their best to keep me alive.
Right.
I mean, obviously, I do know a little bit of broken Spanish. I can pick up every fourth word,
right,
and everything. So I know enough not to get stabbed. We'll just say. And on top of that, I think it would be a business opportunity because I would start my own drug cartel.
I think there's a lot of people in Latin America that speak perfect Latin American but still get stabbed.
I mean, that's probably a fair assessment, but what I'm just saying is I know what will be coming.
All right.
From group guys, then I gotta fucking defend myself, or defend myself.
Right. So you're gonna go to Latin America and you're gonna start your own drug cartel.
That's correct. You heard it here first. I'm waiting for the FBI to knock on the door and be like, what the fuck?
Alright. I think...
Where are you going?
I think I'm moving to Siberia.
Oh, one other thing I will say is I love Latin food. And I think Latin women are one of the most beautiful creatures on the face of the earth.
Okay.
So
They have apps for that.
fair enough, but I don't want to stay around.
Right.
So why would I put roots down here?
Right. Okay, so this is why I'm saying like Siberia. It's not especially because it's Russia or anything. It's because it's a sparsely lived in land. There's not a lot of people that live there. I want to be near a mountain. I want to be able to fish for my own food, and I want to be able to hunt for my own food.
Okay, my question here would be, what are you going to do when it's like negative 60 outside?
Everybody
Fahrenheit.
Right. Everybody has their own way, and you have to. Anywhere you move, you have to learn not only the culture of where you're living, but you also have to learn the survival of and even like you said, if you're going to start your own drug cartel in Latin America, you're going to have to learn the culture and survival of that area just as much as you would have to learn the culture and survival in Siberia. Right. So, I mean, I don't think there's definitely very opposite differences on how you would learn and be able to survive those areas. But
all right, so you're just going to go up to the locals with like a case of vodka and be like, "Hey, teach me how not to freeze to death."
I think that would work. Actually,
I actually did too. That's what I asked. I mean, is that part of the plan? Are you going to?
It is now. It's part of the plan. You're teaching me how to... Now you taught me how to survive in Siberia. You just go up to a local, you give them a case of vodka and be like, hey, teach me how not to die out here.
What Siberia, man? What the fuck?
It's away from everybody. It's away from everything.
Too cold, man. I ain't coming to visit you. Sorry, buddy. No fucking
Not
way.
even in the summer?
No fucking... Summer in Siberia is probably like fucking 20 degrees Fahrenheit.
Maybe lower Siberia then.
I mean, I don't know. I would have to, like I said, hey, no. Look, unless it's 70 degrees, guess what? Go fuck yourself.
Right.
Motherfucker, come down and hang out with me in my fucking villa and everything while I'm fucking, moving like 10 kilos of
I'll make sure I bring my stab vest because I don't know how to speak the language.
It'll be alright.
Right.
It'll be alright, fucking, Alex will take care of you.
Okay. I don't know who Alex is.
Don't worry about it.
Alright, so now we've moved out of the United States and into different countries in the world. That's good. Let's go even bigger.
Go bigger than the world?
We're going bigger than the world.
Okay.
Now we're moving to different planets.
Okay. Now, before we even get into this, have you heard about this story where some company plans on opening a hotel in space?
Okay.
By 2025. 3 years.
So that
3 years.
That actually gives us a third option. Now, I mean,
it's a hotel in space.
So, if we're moving off the world, do we have to specifically live on a planet, or can we live on the ships within space?
Ooh. Oh.
Be part of like the transportation network.
Okay, well, hold on. Let's talk about the obvious first.
Okay.
Number one, Mars. Motherfucker, send me to Mars right now. Elon Musk, reach the fuck out. I will go to Mars tomorrow.
Well, I mean, I don't think a ship's leaving for Mars tomorrow. But
doesn't matter. If you want to send one, I'm on it.
I think you got at least another decade or two before we start.
Obviously, all you got to do is send me up there with some shit and some materials, some tools, and everything. I'll start building stuff. I will start building stuff.
See, here's
that way. Hey, guess what? If it doesn't work out, at least there's a tiny bit of infrastructure there.
I think there's going to be like a 5 or 10 year process where nobody's actually going to live on Mars, but we're going to start installing an infrastructure on Mars.
Yes. You know what? I volunteer to be the first motherfucker to go up there and do it.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
But I don't know if they're going to actually land people on Mars to do it. I think they're going to just bring the ships to go around Mars, and then they're going to drop stuff off and then have it float down to.
Okay. Well, I mean, the problem with that. Okay, let's say they start sending people to build all that stuff and everything.
I don't think they're going to build it. I think it's going to be built here. I think they're going to ship it there, and they're going to drop it off. And then eventually, when the time comes, the people are going to land on Mars, and then they're going to put everything.
Oh, they're going to assemble it.
Right.
Oh, okay.
That's what I think. That's personally what I think would happen.
I don't know,
you're just on the transportation to go drop stuff off, and then you're on your way back.
Yeah. No, that's boring. Just send me out there. I'll assemble it as you guys drop it off. Just keep dropping shit off. I'll keep assembling it.
Right.
That would be ideal. Guess what? No taxes on Mars.
No, there's definitely not. There's nowhere to buy anything either. There's no currency on Mars.
There is. It's called air.
It's called air and water.
Air and water. And as we learned from the Martian, apparently potatoes.
Potatoes?
Yeah. Don't you remember his whole thing was he grew potatoes?
What Martian? What are we talking about?
The Martian, the movie.
I don't know if I haven't seen it. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, I have seen that. But I thought... But there was actual real Martians. I thought you were talking about a real Martian. Not Matt Damon on Mars.
No, I'm talking about the movie.
Okay. We were having a miscommunication error.
On one end.
If I didn't understand what you're saying, then there's going to be somebody else that didn't know what you were saying either.
I guarantee you 95% of the people out there, got the reference.
I think it's going to be 50-50.
Let us know down in the comments below whether or not you got that reference.
So, you're going to Mars. Is that where you want to go?
I'm going straight to Mars, but then you also brought up the whole ship thing. I mean, if you want to hold off and get into that later, we can.
What are we going to hold off on? I think it would be cool to be like on a starship, kind of like a Star Trek type thing, just to be
I mean,
part of the exploration and stuff like that.
I agree too. I could fix the ship,
right?
We could fix the ship,
right?
I mean, I could be Scotty, and you could be, whatever red shirt that fucking dies every week.
You don't even have a name tag. You don't have a chance.
No one had a name tag on Star Trek.
I know it's a reference from Austin Powers.
Like I said, I can be Scotty, and you can be like I said, whatever red shirt that dies.
I'll be Jordy and Scotty.
Are you gonna get yourself?
I'll be blind. I'll wear some cool visors. I prefer Geordie LaForge as the engineer than Scotty.
Really?
Yes.
I love the accent.
You like the accent?
Yeah, I like that Scottish accent again. I thought
it was cool that the thing that separated him apart was that he could see things that other people couldn't just because of his... I mean, you can call it that. Say that he had a impediment on not being able to see, but he could see other things that you couldn't see because of his visor.
I wouldn't necessarily call it an impediment because he had the technology,
right,
and everything, and that boosted his skill level to an extent,
right?
If that makes sense. Scotty just knew shit. He invented shit.
Yeah.
He's a smart motherfucker. He was like, oh, yeah, whoa, Trent. Transwarp technology. Bam, done. I got it up here.
Alright. Yeah, I guess.
How do we make a transporter work while we're at warp speed? Bam, up here.
Well, they did that too, but that was actually Data that did that in the Star Trek Enterprise, the Next Generation. Data was kind of like the genius.
It happened in the original movies, actually.
I
don't remember which one, but
right. I did not. I'll be honest. I probably watched them all, the original Star Trek movies.
Right, but I don't remember them at all. To remember. I mean, they're okay movies. Let's be honest. I mean, some of them were better than others.
But would you agree that Star Trek: The Next Generation is better than?
I want to say that it was Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. I think it might have been called. It was the fifth movie where they actually teleported or, transported someone during warp.
During warp. Okay.
So it was before the Next Generation.
So we're agreeing that we're not actually going to live on a planet. We're both going to be living. We're both going to be engineers on a starship.
Well, no, I'm going to be head engineer, chief engineer.
Okay.
You're going to be my underling.
Whatever. I don't care.
Like I said, you're going to be the red shirt that dies first.
How do we know where I'm going to die?
No, it's just a joke. I mean, come on. I mean, you know the thing with the red shirt. The red shirt always dies.
Do you know why Geordi was the chief engineer? Because the chief engineer died before him.
Is that true?
Yes.
Who was the chief engineer before?
He's some no-name guy everybody forgot about.
Was he wearing a red shirt?
Probably. They all do.
You heard it first.
Actually, weren't they all gold? I thought. No, security was gold. Security was gold.
No. I mean, it was random. It was depending on your rank.
No.
It depended on your rank.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did.
Because red was command. No. Yes. We're going to have to get into this one.
No. Okay. Well, then why did Kirk wear a fucking gold shirt?
I don't know the answer.
He's command. Spock, blue.
Blue is science. Blue is science and doctors. Red was command. Yellow was security. And I do not...
Sulu drove the ship. Wore red.
Look, this is all I know is that those were the bases. The basis was command, engineering, security, and medical, and science. That was the reason for the colors.
Well, they obviously got way off that in Next Generation.
To an extent, I know at some point, what's the big guy? Worf. Worf changed from gold to red.
Actually, I think he went from red to gold. He started out red.
Well, I know he did that because of security. He changed to security because the blonde girl died. And then he became head of security.
It's been so long since I watched Next Generation. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It has been a long time. That's why I can't completely flush it out in my mind, but I do know that the basis for the uniform colors was the actual job description that you were in.
Okay.
All right. We are way
off base here.
Yeah.
Let us know whether either of us are correct down in the comments below, because I'm going to be honest, I don't know if I just said a bunch of shit that is totally incorrect. I think you're feeling the same way.
I do not. I think I'm half right.
Half right.
If not more. Maybe 75%.
It's, yeah, fair enough.
Well, now we're way off base, and where do we go from here? Where can we possibly go from out of the world? Out of where else could we live? What else could we discuss?
Well, I mean, you could be on a generational ship to another galaxy.
How about this? How about now we've expanded ourselves out of this world, and now we're moving into fiction. Now we're not even living in reality. Where would you live? What fictional world would you live in?
I'm not sure I totally comprehend the question.
So there's all kinds of fictional worlds, whether it be a book or a video game.
Okay, so are you asking me what movie universe would I live in?
Okay, we can do movies too.
I mean,
you can do games too. You can do
asking,
games, movies, books. Fictional world.
Oh man, hold on. You're gonna have to give me a second to think about that. Tell me yours.
I'm thinking that I would like to live in. I mean, I think this is where you're gonna go too, but the world of Mass Effect.
Well, at the same point in time, you basically be living on a spaceship.
Right?
So we already talked about that.
But we're talking about now where we're living on a spaceship where we have like actual like powers, and I don't remember what the powers are called, but
biotics.
Biotics. Now we have biotic powers. We're living in a world where basically we can use,
or you can have tech powers via your Omni tool as well.
Right.
Such a nerd. Anyway.
So I would like to have live in a world where I have biotic powers that I can throw things and make them explode and pull things and put them in a bubble and throw them around and have them float up so I can just shoot them.
I mean, that would be really, really cool. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if that's the route that I would go because, like I said, that kind of correlates to just living on a spaceship already.
Right.
So,
but in our world we don't have like biotics. No. We don't have like I mean technically I guess people could have like tech powers in a way that could be. I mean, not like that right now, but it would be like a futuristic thing.
As you see, it's explode like a watermelon.
Right. But yeah, I mean either that or Star Wars. I could go for a Star Wars world where I'd be a Jedi Knight.
Star Wars is kind of a similar thing. I mean, yeah, you could go fucking goddamn, farm moisture on Tatooine or some shit. But
right. That seems like the most boring, redundant life that you could possibly have. I have to make sure this machine works so I can collect water. I mean, yes, it's important. I'm sure it is on that world where there's not a lot of water, and I believe that would be probably a very lucrative life, collecting water on a world with no water.
Did you use the word lucrative?
Yes.
Purposefully?
I did not, but I'm glad you brought that up.
I would. I'm still kind of indecision. Yeah, because I just went off this fucking planet, but I mean, living in like an Elder Scrolls kind of universe would be cool.
Okay.
Because I just run around murdering everybody.
Like a Skyrim world?
Yeah. On top of that, fucking mining shit down in caves.
Right.
And they're being rich as fuck. And guess what? Now I own all Skyrim.
Right.
I think there's business opportunity there.
I mean, it's. Would you use magic in it? No, you wouldn't use magic. Would you just sneak around like you do in regular Skyrim? You sneak around and be like silent.
Yeah,
like I said, from a long way away with a boat.
Go mine my gold, my ebony, my fucking. I forget about all the other shit. Whatever. Just go mine it, and then sell it. Then just buy towns. Yeah. I buy the entire map.
And you got like a world where you have zombies like Draugrs walking around and witches and giants and mammoths and.
All you gotta do is be like, when they're like, whap, with the shield, done.
But then you gotta be like walking around just minding your own business, and then a dragon fucking attacks you out of nowhere.
I mean, yeah, that's one thing to worry about, but Just saying.
Right.
It was an idea. Personally, if I had to choose from any one of those particular scenarios, oh man, I don't know. I'm torn between Mars and spaceship. If Elon just sends me to Mars and just keeps dropping shit off for me to keep building shit,
Right.
I think that is what I would do.
Right.
But I mean, it's traveling around on a starship is very, very close
Appealing,
behind.
right?
Very close
appealing.
behind. You never know what kind of crazy shit you're going to get into that day. Who knows what's going to happen?
I mean, look at how many times they almost die every single episode. They all almost die every episode.
Right? Yeah, I mean, it'd be, I don't know. The only problem is I think we are way closer to, putting human beings on Mars than we are traveling around, galaxies in spaceships.
I would somewhat disagree with that.
What do you mean?
Because if they created these virtual worlds, you could be anywhere and live
Well,
anywhere
that's
you
just a
wanted to.
virtual world.
That's true, but if they can make
Well,
it...
in a virtual world, guess what? You could be on Mars.
Exactly.
So, guess what? You can have either or.
I mean, does that
Your
kind
argument is already nonsense.
does that kind of world sound appealing to you, where that you could be anywhere you wanted to be, and you could be anything and do anything you wanted in a virtual world?
Explain a little further. I'm not...
Would you put the visor on your head if you never woke up again and you could live in this fantasy world where anytime, any day, you could be anywhere, you could live anywhere, you could be anything?
So are you asking me why I insert myself into the simulation?
Yes.
No.
Why?
I like being productive.
You like being productive, or do you just like being who you are? Be what you are
Why?
in real life.
Are you saying who I am is not productive?
No,
I'm confused here.
I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is that do you see the appeal in somebody just saying, "Let me put this visor on, plug myself into the matrix so I can do and be anything I want to be at any time"?
I'll go be honest, I kind of enjoy the struggle a little bit.
I mean, just turn up the difficulty in the simulation.
Is that something that you would do?
No. Because I'm not in control. You know what I mean?
I mean, like I said,
Am I
difficulty?
Am I really me?
That is life.
Right? Am I really me in the simulation?
Are you?
I don't think I am. I think I'm somebody else.
How do you know?
You think that's who I was always meant to be?
How do you know we're not in a simulation right now?
It's possible. I doubt it because my knees hurt.
How do you know that's not programmed?
Oh, son of a bitch. I'm going to kick that guy's ass who made that program.
I don't know, fucking dick. Fucking asshole. Why do your knees hurt? You drive for like fucking goddamn half the time you fucking work anyway.
I gotta fucking crawl around under these stupid trucks all... Oh, no. We're not talking about it. Anyway, that's all I got. I got nothing else. You got anything?
The only thing, because we obviously talked like a lot about like space and everything this week. Did you see that they like recorded sounds from like a black hole?
I did see something on when I was going through news and stuff, something about a black hole, but I didn't really read the article or anything.
Would you volunteer yourself to be the first person if we had, space, travel and flight?
No, because I already know they're gonna die. It's a death wish. If you're gonna go through that black hole, we already know that the pull itself is gonna stretch you and just break you apart and destroy you and the ship that you're riding. That's like a no-brainer. You're gonna die if you go through a black hole. You're not gonna make it.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't done any research into the science and everything.
You're not even gonna get close to the black hole before you start getting ripped apart.
Fair enough. Would you bang an alien?
I think we already discuss this.
I don't
at one
know.
point?
Did we?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did.
What was your answer? I forget.
It was the blue girl from Mass Effect.
Oh no. Okay. Let's say it's not. Sorry. Let's say it's something different.
It would depend on the alien. It definitely would.
Would it have to be visually appealing for you to actually bang it?
It would have to look feminine. That's for sure.
I would do it just to see what happens. I'm gonna be honest.
What if you couldn't bang the alien? Maybe only the alien could bang you.
Exit only.
There you go.
You heard it here first. So, ladies and gentlemen, I guess we'll go ahead and wind this episode down. Talked about crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Where we would live.
Yeah.
Other than here. Different planets. Kind of different universes.
Yeah. Different areas of the state, different states, different countries, different worlds.
And broken pens.
And almost put it in his cup, too. He's having pen issues today.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, I am, of course, Gregor Guy.
My name's Casey.
And this will be episode 24.
The Kobe
episode. Of the Bangcast.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, out there, thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your week.